Hey friends, welcome to a new video. Thank you so much for clicking in. I want to share with you how I reset my allotment beds in the autumn. So this is me at the allotment. I'm just going to show you what I do when the time for us to let the beds to rest because we have a very short growing season. So to start with, most times when I have like food scraps, things that are not going to go in my compost heap. So things with blood or bones that are fresh, I don't put in the compost heap because of pests. I bury them in areas that I don't disturb the soil. So this is me digging just outside the raised bed next to two herbs. I've got lovage and I've got tarragon side by side. I want to help feed that soil, okay, and get the microbes to break down these fish scraps. These are just like fish bones and the fish blood. I do this not every single time because we don't eat animal products that much. Bury it nice and deep, okay? And then I cover it and put some rocks or whatever I can on top because I don't want foxes digging up this thing I've buried. Now, the first job for today is our bean frame. Now, beans have fed us throughout the season. It's a hot growing crop, so we won't have it cropping over winter. And my bean frame is kind of permanent, so I don't have other things growing in there other seasons, mostly beans and a few strawberries. So I have to clear all the bamboo canes. It's a bit of a job. It takes a few hours because it's a big frame. I also make sure I get rid of the dead leaves because we don't want overwintering bean weevils, okay, in the soil because we have pest load. It's organic gardening, so just trying to reduce that load. So this is one major job I have to do, especially in the autumn. It's important to do this because I don't want overwintering pests and diseases. Getting rid of the vines, and then I go ahead. Next thing I have to do is to get some compost. Now we either use compost or we use horse manure. I can use horse manure because it's a bit rotted down, and look, the horse manure bay is practically empty. We're so grateful, the privilege, because we have free horse manure at my allotment. Not many people have this free, so I'm just gonna get as much as I can, scrape out of this bottom of this bay. Most times we use our horse manure, we use food scraps, we use coffee grounds, and we make the best compost full of microbes and worms. But this time I'm just using this for this bean frame because I'd rather have this there. I'm maximizing the use of the horse manure available and then making the most of my own homemade compost because there are some plants that are heavy feeders. Beans can do with less feed than some. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. You can use whatever you have though, but I try to save costs. I try to spend less money at the allotment. And then one thing I also try to do to reduce my work burden, I layer that bed with some cardboard before putting this horse manure. Cardboard really makes a difference. It suppresses the weeds. So the next season, the weeds are very minimal. Obviously, no dig already gives you that minimal weeds, but this cardboard's an extra insurance. It's almost like making a brand new no dig bed, but this is not a brand new no dig bed. Now I left one plant because it still have flowers on it, and I'm just trying to hold on to summer for as long as possible. Otherwise, this bean frame is nearly done. I needed one more wheelbarrow. This is quite a big wheelbarrow, and the whole frame will be completely covered. And next we'll move to other jobs. I have quite a lot of things to do today, resetting beds. Now, my first tomato bed needed to be reset. Although we still had a few fruits there, we now have blight officially, and this bed is practically finished producing. So harvesting a few tomatoes. Look at that beautiful basket. Oh, I'm so happy. Like this time of the year, towards the end of September, we're still harvesting. Next, I have to take off all the tomato canes. We had the spiral canes that used to support our tomatoes, and I had to get rid of them. I also had to get rid of the marigolds. Those are companion plants, and basil. The basil will be eaten, but the marigolds, I just cut it really low at the base of the soil and leave the roots intact. This is what I also do with the tomato plants. Just cut it down, and the soil, the microbes and the soil life will break down the roots, and next year you can plant no problem. Disturbing the soil, the less you disturb the soil, the better. It's the no-dig method. Charles Darwin is the guru about no-dig, but I'm learning and I'm just trying to put into practice this, things that will help keep my soil structure intact and also improve the soil life. So getting rid of those plants, just one bed at a time, guys. There's a lot to always do at the allotment, but just do it one day at a time. So back to my card, like I said, I use cardboard. You don't have to. It's only when you're making a brand new no-dig bed. But this is what we do in the autumn. We find that it helps us reduce our weeding. Now, weed seeds could spread over the bed, but using a little hoe to just scrape it, in the spring does the job. The cardboard really helps ensure that no perennial weeds that have rooted or dandelions and things won't come up, and our no-dig bed retains its integrity. One thing I also do, I recycle my compost. So this was like potatoes in a pot I planted with my own homemade compost. Actually, if you have a good look, it's not 100% broken down. We still had a few twigs, but it was sufficient for me to use on this bed. So this is what I do. And we have potatoes. We can have it as seeds, and we can also use them to eat. So we covered the whole bed with a good amount of card. Hubby came around to help me. It's always helpful. You can't grow this much food on your own, to be honest. I'm trying to be self-sufficient, so we always help each other out. I enjoy it more, but he also does enjoy it, thankfully, and it's good physical activity. Now, this time around, we're using our own compost. So you see our compost base. We don't mess around with making compost. We try to make compost. This compost isn't quite rotted down yet, but that's fine. We're not planting onto it. To be fair, you could sieve it and plant, but because we're leaving it to overwinter, the winter months will help break it down properly. So just gonna spread it out, and we already had worms in here, so that was fine. It wasn't heated anymore, it was just breaking down. I'm gonna spread this nicely, and this bed has been put to sleep. Ta-da! I'm so happy. Next, let's do some harvesting some brassicas. This is my only, well, I had two purple cabbages had done me not too good this year, but no problems. Purple cabbage, it looks so beautiful. So I'm gonna take it. I'm happy to harvest this. If you have tricks about growing purple cabbage, let me know, because I've tried the whole things and I struggle with them. Anyway, next is something I grow very well, and this is calabrese or broccoli. Look how beautiful. This is succession planting. This is the next one. I'll harvest it up until towards the end of October if we don't have a harsh frost. And then we're gonna pick some tomatoes, a few tomatoes. They're not 100% ripe, but we have blights in this bed as well. So we've done one tomato bed, we have two more to go. Anyway, guys, we've come to the end. Look at the beautiful harvest. We had some cukes, some tomatoes, some potatoes, and the last of the corn here, and a few of the runner beans, and some green vegetables, and then basil. And this is all we've done. This is what happens when you put in the work, you get the rewards. So thank you for joining me to reset a few beds. I hope you've learned something. Leave us a thumbs up and also comment and share. Look at the face of a content happy gardener. Bye.